Hey, what's up, Geminites? My name is Iman, for those of you who don't know. I've been a watcher of Geminite collectibles since... I was about to lie just then and say since day one, but I haven't. I've been watching the channel for a couple of months now and I've loved every second of it. So this is an honor for me to be here and to get the chance to do this and hang out with you all, to have some fun and hopefully share my love for comics. So as you can tell by my accent, I don't come from the United States. English is not my native language. I come from a small country up north called Sweden. It's a small little Scandinavian country that gets really cold during the winter time. And if we're lucky, we see the sun sometimes, only sometimes. It's a very, very dark place, but it's amazing. I love it. I've been reading comic books ever since I can remember, starting with single issues and then collecting them as soon as it became economically possible for me. And I've gone back and forth between reading a lot and being away from comic books for a long, long time. And about 2 years ago, I started to read comic books again. And that segues me into the topic of this video, which is reading recommendations. In this video, I'll be recommending some of the books that got me back into reading in 2016. And hopefully this will be a start of a little segment in which I'll recommend some of the books I love, talk a bit about the aspects that make them great to me, show off a bit of the art, and hopefully give an inkling of what the books contain without giving away any spoilers. So let's get this started. So the first book I'll be recommending is Paper Girls, written by Brian K. Vaughan with art by Cliff Chiang. This is the hardcover deluxe edition, which looks like this. And it contains issues 1 to 10 of Paper Girls. I know there's trade paperbacks of this book as well, if you'd much rather prefer that format. So the story follows a group of 12-year-old paper delivery girls in the 1980s called Erin, Mackenzie, KJ and Tiffany. And it is set only a couple of hours after Halloween in a place in Ohio, I think, a fictional place called Stony Stream. Throughout the book we follow the girls tackle with an extraterrestrial, hard time saying that word, invasion, dealing with time-traveling mutant aliens and future versions of themselves. I mean, this book becomes wacky at times and they go on this strange adventure, but it's weirdly fulfilling throughout, and I highly recommend it. And if we look at the art inside, it is set in 1988 and the whole series has this Spielberg-esque vibe a la Goonies and E.T. And one of my favorite decades when it comes to pop culture is the 80s. And this book is littered with pop culture references. One of my all-time favorite movies growing up was Monster Squad, and a nice surprise was a Monster Squad movie poster hanging on the wall in one of the first panels. The story deals with a lot of PG-13 subjects, like swearing and smoking, but all the while it keeps this real feel of what it is like growing up. The dialogue is very authentic for its time, and the art really complements the story well. It is super energizing to see a good coming-of-age story with all the feels, and all the heroes are female leads. I remember reading this and just wishing that I'd had something like this growing up. All in all, this is a good read and I highly, highly recommend Paper Girls. So the next book I'd like to recommend is All New X-Men with this gorgeous, gorgeous cover. It is written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Stuart Immonen. And the series debuted with the relaunch of Marvel Now, I think it was in 2012. I'm not super sure about that, but I think that was the year. The story follows a time-displaced team brought to the present-day Marvel universe, and it revolves around the original five X-Men, Beast, Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Angel, and Iceman. So after Cyclops escapes from prison, he goes on a controversial crusade to free imprisoned mutants. And fearing Cyclops' violent actions will lead to a mutant civil war, Beast travels back in time to bring the past X-Men to the present to stop their escalating future selves. And so what I think is that the character interaction in this book is what stands out the most. Bendis is able to mix the old with the new and gives us a fun take on some characters we've already gotten to know well. This book kind of became a second jumping on point for me for the X-Men franchise, and the reason for me bringing this up is because when reading it, it felt like I was getting to know the characters I'd grown up loving so much, while also getting some new flavors thrown into them. So this has some great art in it, it's got some fun, witty dialogue, fast-paced, and I highly, highly recommend it. So those were my recommendations for this video. Hope you've enjoyed. Stay tuned for the upcoming stuff on this channel. Stay minty. Peace.